So today we're going to cover proud of your body, but not inappropriate. Not liking one's body, liking one's body. And then later, Susan's going to give us a survey.
A survey, yeah.
Survey on whether you prefer a male or female gynecologist.
Absolutely. And another thing we're going to hit on, guys, is normalizing. What makes you comfortable, not what everybody else thinks is comfortable. So, right out the gate, I'm doing great.
So good.
Hey, guys, I'm Susan, and my earring's stuck. Go ahead, Echo.
We're two hairstylists. Welcome to Hairstylists Know Best.
Yes.
We're two hairstylists. Can't walk and manage masks, but we're here to help you.
Exactly.
With your life.
We're here to talk to you about all the taboo things, fashion, makeup, anything and everything that you want to know.
Today is, I don't know, it's kind of a fun thing that,
fun-ish, yeah.
Yeah, it's one of the many things that we are pretty opposite about.
Yeah.
So I think one of the things that's always very interesting to me, that kind of lets me know how people were raised. If they were raised like very conservative, or if they were raised with someone who's less modest, is people who are just have really healthy, trim bodies, medium bodies, just someone that you look at and you're like, well, they're probably great because they are healthy and happy with their, good working body, and they have an average size body. And you hear them consistently talking about, like, I don't like my body. Yeah. Oh, I'm so this, I'm so that. And I think, wow, how were you not raised with someone who was, body positive?
Right.
Because they're just really nitpicky. And then we have the extreme opposite where someone is not what we see all the time in splashed in magazines. And they're like, this is who I am. If I have extra curves, you're going to love them. If you don't love them, I don't care. So I think it is, it kind of sets us up, I feel like, for the rest of your life of how you parents either normalize or, I don't know the opposite of normalize.
Normalize or, I don't know the word to use it because I feel like some parents sexualize things when they shouldn't, or just mold them into who they think they should be, basically,
who they think society thinks they should be.
Exactly,
exactly. You have probably more on this than I do. You've raised 6 children, and we are all fools if we think that only girls go through this.
Oh, yes.
So I will not splitting it up between, you have 3 boys and 3 girls, because I think it's definitely, just my brother and I both have very different body images, and where that led us down, and boys are just susceptible to psychological issues around their body image.
Yeah. As far as my girls are concerned, girls versus boys, I've always let all of them do what makes them comfortable. It doesn't necessarily have to be like one size fits all for each of my girls. I've not said, oh, you can't wear that. Oh, you can't do that. Things that irritate me too, people that don't use proper terminology for their children's private parts, arm, leg, knee, vagina. Big deal. I don't understand that. Don't give it a pet name. This isn't your knobby knee or some stupid thing, that makes me so angry. And there's other reasons too, but regardless of the other reasons, but
I think that does start with like laying the foundation, because at 2 years old, if you call it a wee-wee, and then at 10 years old, you realize during your sex ed that, before you're 10, you probably realize that it's a penis, but like when you're brought up saying like, oh, that's a wee-wee, then it's like, oh, well, I guess penis is bad, and I'm not supposed to have a penis, or like, and it's
we don't say that word.
Yeah, it's like it's a dirty word. It's like, no, it's your penis. Now there are dirty words for a penis.
Yeah.
But essentially, penis, vagina.
Yep.
Penis, vagina. Those are the 2 words that you can teach your kid. And like you said, I scrape my elbow, my vagina burns. It's again, it's giving them at a really young age, normalizing that we have body parts, and they're all body parts, and they are treated differently in certain situations.
Exactly.
And you just call them what they are, so we know exactly what it is we're getting around to.
So I have one of my daughters who's very modest, and she's my youngest daughter. That's just her own modesty in herself. So okay, she doesn't want to wear short shorts. She doesn't like her cleavage sticking out. That's just her own comfort. So that's fine. That's what we go with when we go to look for her clothes. Whatever, no big deal. My oldest one, growing up, wore the shortest booty shorts, around the house, There were times where I'd have to say, Andrea, that's a little whatever, too short to go leave the house.
Right.
But if you're in your home and you want to be comfortable, be comfortable. Yeah. And it doesn't matter if you have brothers, a dad, a grandpa in your house.
Yeah.
If they're the ones that have a problem with it, then they're the ones sexualizing things, because it's no big deal. And I'll tell you this, like my oldest son, every picture of him as a child up until age 5, when he started going to school, he was in his underwear. Only underwear, no shirt. And that's how he was comfortable. And even now, if you come to my house, my 12-year-old son and my husband are sitting in the living room watching TV without their shirts on.
I think it would be really interesting if someone had an issue with their brother or their dad walking around with their shirt off. I mean, it's a bathing suit, right? We do that out in public. We do know, famous families like the Duggars. Not that I watch them very much at all. It made my head explode, the idea of that many children in a house. But, they really do teach and they encourage their family to always be modestly dressed.
Very modest.
Yeah, and even within, I don't know, was it because in the house, because there was cameras on them, or do you think that it was just always that way, regardless of cameras there?
Oh, no, always. So this show, I followed the Duggars from 14 kids and counting, I think, is when I started watching them.
Oh, I didn't know we went up and then.
Oh, yes, we went up. And when I first started watching, all the girls were dressed alike. The mom made the dresses, very, very, very matronly dresses on the young girls, things like that.
Okay.
And then the more children they had, then they did, I feel like they evolved a little bit as far as the skirts they wore, were just below the knee, instead of all the way ankle length, things like that. But never any V-necks like I'm wearing. I got a little slit of cleavage, big deal, whatever. But
this is something I do think is different, though. So, big deal, you as an adult dealing with other adults. In high school, I felt horrible for boys, and I noticed it, I guess, in my Spanish class the first time, because half of the class is facing this way and half the class is facing this way, so you can have conversations back and forth, practicing your new language. And there were 2 girls across the way, and they had large cleavage cracks, and they wore, skirts that went very short, especially when they sat down. And these 15, 16, 17-year-old boys, they couldn't think half the time. And because they were just staring across there at what was distracting to me, and I wasn't turned on by it, I felt horrible how physically uncomfortable those boys were sometimes. So when things do come up as dress code, now why the straps have to be 3 and not, but cleavage hanging out, and when girls are doing this and they have their skirts and you can see up, I was distracted.
But going back to the Duggars, because those parents, and I'm not going to say because those parents, because I feel like, me personally, people are born the way they're born, whatever. But when you impound that in someone's brain every day, don't do this, don't do that, don't do this.
Yeah.
The oldest son ended up molesting some of those girls.
Yeah.
And it just shows you, no matter how religious you are, no matter how much you instill to be so modest, things are going to happen one way or the other. Yeah. It has nothing to do with the way those girls were dressed or not.
I always feel that I want everyone to feel normal in their skin appropriately, because then they're going to be their most confident self. And when you're your most confident self, you are less likely to be a victim of bullying. You're less likely to be a victim of a lot of things.
Exactly.
And if you are feeling victimized or you're feeling that, you're also strong enough to go to your parents, go to a teacher, depending upon the situation, and say, I feel this way. I'm confident I feel this way, and I have the courage to come to you and tell you, and we can try to take care of it.
Exactly.
When I would, 7th, 8th grade, go shopping with my mom for, school clothes, and I would put it on, and I'm like, what do you think? She's like, do you like it? Do you feel good in it? And if I was fidgety, like, that's how I started to recognize very quickly that I personally was a very modest dresser. And I realized that I don't feel good in shorts. I don't feel good in, like, spaghetti straps. I don't feel good in a lot of tight-fitting things. And it doesn't matter. I have been 60 pounds heavier than I am now. I can be this size. That doesn't change. You don't see me in shorts. You don't see me in things. I don't know how to make cleavage when you have... I would have just one boob with a slice in it if I was to have cleavage. So that's not an issue I have. But still, it's just not something I feel good in. And then you have my brother, polar opposite, who would essentially run around naked if he could. If that was socially acceptable, he would be fine with it. And I grew up with him only wearing boxers 90% of the time in the house. Like, he would just come home, stripped down to his boxers.
To go back to what Echo said, boys can have body image issues also. Both of my boys, my one son's been very heavy. He looks amazing now. I'm very proud of him. But he still is like me, where now he's done all the hard work and he has loose skin here and there. So he's like, I hate this, I hate that, and that's sad when you've done all that work and you get to that point, and instead of just being like so proud of yourself for all that hard work, and then that's all you see when you look in the mirror. And then my other son, he's constantly worried about his weight. He has a terrible diet, he doesn't eat good, and he works out every day. And he knows if he stops working out, he's going to get heavy. And he just has that genetic code in him, and he's going to get heavy. But I can watch him walk past a mirror, and he'll do, like, look sideways like this. Like, he has a certain thing he does,
Yeah.
And that's a body image thing, for a boy. I mean, people don't think of that.
So then I wonder, like, are you born with it? And I think it's, it's a pie, right? Like, part of the pie is you're born that way. You just have that natural, awareness and of your body, and you're comfortable with it. It's what your parents kind of lead you into. It's your junior high experience. I mean, I was called chubby in high school. Like, oh yeah, Echo, she's the chubby one. I was a size 6 in high school. I think that has a part to do with it. And then again, there's just that we will look in the mirror, and everyone will see 99% of your beautiful things, and they won't notice that one thing, and we'll harp on that one thing.
And that's all we look at. You're right.
So,
I mean, it sucks. It does suck, because I mean, even right now, this shirt is shorter than what I like to wear. Because my arms are large. It's just the way I'm built, no matter what. And yes, I have a lot of arm flab down here, but even these top parts of my arm, when I was I have a picture of me in 8th grade that I had a sleeveless shirt on, and this arm was like this, like humped out. I have large arms, and that bothers me, especially blow drying hair at work. I'm like, I am so self-conscious of that, because it's just more of how I feel. I know that my client's not sitting there harping and looking at my flabby arms while I'm blow drying, but I try really hard to A, cover them up, but B, if I do wear a shorter sleeve shirt, I try not to stare at myself, because I want to cry sometimes. I'm like, why do I have this, but
I sometimes wonder what my clients are staring at, because mine is always like, if I can see love, like anything, like, and I would call it a love handle, but sometimes when you bend, there's just skin there, like, so like, but if I'm like, oh gosh, I wonder if they saw that, but they're probably looking at my roots. I never notice those. I'm like, well, they're probably like doesn't Echo do her?
Echo does not care about her
Doesn't
hair.
Echo care that that's her business and she's not doing, you know, but I'm worried about like, oh, I just bent and I saw like skin fold over my jeans. Yeah. So I wish there was. We have clients that are subscribers. We may only have clients that are subscribers at this point, but I would like to know what clients do stare at.
Yes.
When you guys are in our chair,
yes.
What do you notice? Is it our Hadassah arms? Is it my love handle? It's not my roots, I know. Nobody notices those things.
Sounds great. Guys, don't forget to like and subscribe and hit our notification bell.
Give us a thumbs up.
Thumbs up, guys. Come on.
All right. Talk to you soon.